Regal Movie Masters. Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theater. Your movie masters today are Justine.
Hi.
Brent.
Hi, Barbie.
Dylan.
What's up?
And I am Colin. Today's movies, you know damn well what today's movies are. It's Barbie and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, the two. And there's no one else in the world dares release movies during this week, as you could probably understand why. We have a little game to play at the end. But before we get to any of that, we got emails, electronic mails. If you would like to electronic mail us, we are moviemasters760@gmail.com. That's moviemasters, plural, 760@gmail.com. Any questions, intrigues, and we will read them on the air. We do default to anonymous. So if you want us to use your name, say please use your name. Leading off, I feel like this is a bottled, like this was bottled in for a while. Like this email was a long time coming.
Okay.
So there's a lot of parts to the question, and I'll just ask each part, and we'll go round table, quick answer.
Cool.
We're honoring the question here. I'm curious how your relationship with the movie theater changed since starting the podcast. Not a question. Typically, every time I go, I have to fully snack up in order to get the full movie experience.
Uh-huh.
Are you snacking every time? Justine?
No.
Brent?
Absolutely not. I'll pack a snack, though.
I used to. I'm trying to cut that out.
Yeah, I think I'm at like one popcorn a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at a sad crossroads. I don't think I can do an icy anymore.
I might be with you.
And this is not like a moral thing. It's just my body. It's breaking down.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like before we started doing the podcast, every time I went to the movies, which was maybe once every couple months, on average, I'd say, definitely get an icy, definitely get some kind of like sugary treat and like really enjoy yourself. Maybe a small popcorn, but like you can't do that when you see
Multiple
5
movies
to
a week.
7 movies a week.
Which actually leads into the next question. Do your once favorite snack combos now disgust you? Justine?
I never had a snack combo, so I mean, I guess like popcorn is the only thing that I really would do at the theater. But now they have like vegan gummy worms at Sprouts.
Local grocer Sprouts for those.
That local?
Is it not? I don't know.
I think so. But anyway, it starts to hurt your teeth, so it doesn't disgust me, but it scares me.
Brent?
It doesn't disgust me at all. I would love for every movie to be able to have a giant icy and peanut M&Ms. That would be amazing, but can't.
Yeah, it takes its toll.
I would die soon.
Dylan, you burnt?
The popcorn soda combo.
Or whatever your favorites, a once favored snack combo that now disgusts you.
Nah, the classic combo of just popcorn and soda are still reign supreme, and I try to fight it every time I go to the theaters. The last month or two.
Yeah, man, I used to go. I was a little ant. I like my sugar. I don't know what they call people who like sugar, ants. Yeah, like as a slang. But I really like soda and candy together. And like I said, I'm just taking inventory, and it definitely wrecks me. It doesn't disgust me. I lust after it. But
one of my favorite times ever was when you brought outside candy in, and it was those nerds, the big ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the giant
chewy nerds. Oh my god! When you brought that one time, I was like, "This is the best movie." I don't even remember the movie, but I remember it being the best.
You take those, and then you have an icy with it, and it like freezes them up and makes them hard, and your teeth are just tacky, and you pull them out. It's the best. And I can't do it anymore, or I will die. And do we have a relationship with the employees at the theater since we're there so often? Justine?
There are some that recognize us. Like the manager lady recognizes us. There's a girl that always is like, "Didn't I help you before?" Like every time we see her.
Oh my god.
I don't personally.
The manager, I tend to give like a hat tip to every time, and she kind of nods. You know what I mean? Like we don't talk that much, but occasionally we do. Like I know you talked to her after there was that weird incident in the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
And then let's see.
Hold on. I'm not going to let you just get that off. It wasn't a weird incident involving me. We saw someone getting wheeled off in an ambulance, and I talked to her the next day.
Yeah, that was weird. Then let's see. Okay, so then there is like an elderly lady that is so hell bent on ripping tickets, and it's really annoying because she always asks every single time, "What are we watching tonight?" And it's always
she's a fucking legend, bro.
Listen. It's always the most embarrassing movies. It's never when I'm seeing a banger. Okay? You know what I mean? It's like when I'm walking into like some shit I should not be watching.
Ruby Gillman, Teenage Crackers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%. That is exactly what I'm talking about. And then she's like, "Oh, I hear that's fantastic." I'm like, "I'm sure it is." And then she will insist on ripping the ticket. And it's just kind of like, well, nobody else rips the ticket. Why do you rip the ticket?
Some people like to rip the ticket.
Yeah, there's quite a few employees, but there's a manager that likes to dress really flamboyantly. So for Barbie, he had on a pale pink cowboy outfit.
Oh, that's hard. I haven't been to the local one. How are the employees showing up?
Just that for Barbie, he was rocking like a pale pink suit, like cowboy suit with hat, and like, you know, because I just wasn't looking up, so I went to get popcorn because I wanted to celebrate Barbie, and I ordered it, and I heard his voice. I was like, "Oh, dang!" Because I thought it was like somebody else. So yeah, he's really nice. I like him.
No, I think there's I probably have told this story before, but there was this time when me and my friends had a French fry eating contest, and we're like, you know, went to like a Carl's Jr. or something like that, maybe a Burger King, I forget. But we're like, oh, we're gonna like freak out the people working there because we're just gonna keep ordering French fries after French fries, and it's like, yeah, they do not care. They are unfazed. And likewise, I think it's like, oh, we're gonna be like, you know, besties with the people working there. We're there so often. They do not give a shit. You are there 3 times a week. I feel like there's people who they probably see daily who they still don't give a shit about.
Exactly. One last employee to shout out. He no longer works there, but he let us know when he was putting in his 2 weeks, and he said, anything we need, let him know. And one time we asked him to shush some people, and he said, "I'm going to go make them shut the fuck up." And he went down and he threatened to throw him out. I forgot what movie it was, but it was just like a bunch of drunk ladies.
God, it was the worst. It was fucking Marlowe, so it was already a miserable experience.
Yeah, it was Marlowe.
And like, it wasn't like, you know, well, who's that? It was like, oh yeah, so Ken was just full of, I mean, they were just, you know, roasted.
Wherever that guy is, I miss him.
Icon. Dylan, you got any relationship has changed?
I keep it real casual. Funny story about that ticket lady though. One time when Colin and I saw Operation Fortune featuring Jason Statham,
Go on.
she was like, "Is that the Jason Statham movie?" And we were like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love Jason Statham. I like that one movie. I forgot what it's called." And that's like, I never found out to this day what she was talking about.
Meg 1.
No, she was like, she brought up like a random Statham film, like not like
a deep cut.
Not a deep cut. It's just one of those like. The explanation was he has a gun, he's running around. It's like, dude, every Jason Statham film.
Was it Red, maybe?
I don't know.
I mean, it might as well be. Again, This is a nondescript.
But again, every movie that Statham's in, he has a gun at some point. So it's not like she was helping her own cause. But I was like, that's fine. Like, I'm sure it was great.
I wonder what she doesn't like. I want to find out.
She's faking it. Well, you'll notice.
I don't think she's faking it.
She's always like, "Oh, I've heard it was good." I've never once, and granted, we watch movies kind of week of. Never once have I heard her say, "Oh, I've seen that movie."
No, she's always like, "Oh, I want to watch that."
Yeah,
again, because I think that she's working the weekend, so I don't think she's
because it's not out yet when we watch it.
There's a Saturday Night Live character like her,
the Target lady.
Yeah, Target lady. Yeah.
Anyways,
what's yours? Did you already say it?
I said they don't really care.
I thought you had like an actual story.
Yeah, she's a legend.
Well, you could have said that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I didn't know that you gave an answer.
All right, this one's a doozy. Do you find yourself so caught up trying to see each movie that you simply don't have time for anything else? For example, when your friends / potential love interests ask to hang out, are you trying to convince them to see Equalizer 3 because you, quote, heard it was the best in the franchise so far, unquote? And that is the last chunk of those questions. Justine?
I don't think that going to the theater is really the problem.
Yeah, you're in the dungeon editing.
And probably the emotional stress of just always like, what is it? What is there this week? Who has what to do?
Right.
You know?
How are you going to fit it all in, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely fucked up my life. No doubt. I mean, because like, you know what I mean? Like stuff drops on Thursday, we record on Sunday.
Right.
So, and a lot of times it's more than 3 movies. So you're seeing multiple movies a day on weekends when people want to hang out, when people want to go do stuff.
Yeah. Go do it with someone else.
You know? But it's like, but yeah,
Come to the
definitely,
movie then, coward.
Yeah.
definitely-
Haunted Mansion's coming out.
yeah.
Figure your shit out.
I've definitely had to try to shoehorn like other people into seeing movies that they don't necessarily want to see, but like you have to like almost manipulate them into thinking it's funny. It's just like
What a goof this would be.
Wouldn't it be funny if you went and saw this movie? I mean, I'm being hyperbolic when I say it's ruined my life, but it's definitely changed it significantly. And I don't know. It's like anything else that you do a lot of. You have to figure out how to adjust the rest of your life to accommodate it, and that can be difficult some weeks for sure.
Oh, it's shitty.
You were you love
love
the
it.
theater though.
No, I like the theater, but I can't do it. The set schedule makes it harder for me to do
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Right.
yeah, so if you're,
because like I'm always busy, like like at least for the next couple of months, I'm gonna be busy every weekend.
Oh no. Oh no,
Well,
you're
fucked.
fucked.
Yeah, so I have to like fit in a movie, go drive around,
Yeah, exactly.
do stuff.
Try to go to the gym.
Yeah.
that's what makes it fun. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to say this nicely. I'm not a loser, but this is fine for me. I don't care.
I think that Colin gets into like zones,
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
and right now it's the movie zone. So we'll watch movies without them being part of the
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You have
theater
to.
experience because it's normal now.
Yeah, my friend was telling me about a movie called Fled, FLED. I forgot who it was. Like 2 guys who are handcuffed together. It's like 2 stars too.
That's like that George Clooney movie, right?
Is it the Adam Sandler, that one Wayne's brother movie?
It's got Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin, and they're handcuffed
Oh.
together, and they have to like
Shut up.
run around. It's like in 1996.
Wow.
He's like telling me about this movie. I'm like, oh, that's my favorite kind of movie. Like just a movie. Man, I love it.
You know, it was on Pluto the other day. I just kind of like scanned through. It was The Net.
Oh, classic.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god!
Should I watch it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
No, I'm definitely like, you're right. I do get like focused on things from time to time.
Oh,
And right
yeah.
now it is movies. And I like, especially movies. It's easy to get, not easy, but like it's more understandable, I suppose, if it's like, I'm into Kung Fu movies. I'm a Kung Fu movie guy. I'm a Western movie guy, whatever. But when you're just into like movies, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God.
Trying to like beef up my knowledge. Like it is something that I will always feel like an inferiority over. Like, damn, I really don't know the supporting cast of Michael. I really, or just like whatever movies. If I see any movie on like a streaming app from like the 80s, and it's just like, Fish Hunter. I'm like, fuck, I never seen Fish Hunter. What is this? Like, it's daunting to just be, a generalist. I don't know.
Did the writer include where they're at with all these things, or are they just asking the
No.
question? Okay.
That was the entirety of the email I
Okay,
just read
yeah.
off.
If you wrote that email, and if you don't mind sharing where you're at with answers to your own questions, even if we don't read it on the air, I'd be curious, and I would love to commiserate. Yeah.
I just want to know what the snack combo is.
That's a great question.
What's
Yeah,
the
so
snacked up combo.
we need a follow-up is what we're getting up.
You know what I used to do when I was a kid, and
Go
we
on.
would go like so rarely, is a Coke or a Dr. Pepper with red vine as a straw.
Yes.
Classic.
I think it's all soggy.
Yes.
Yeah. Soda and candy. That's my
Oh
fucking
my
downfall.
God, it's
I'm
the best.
disgusting. I'm a dirty, dirty white boy. Barbie is the event of one half of the movie event of the summer. It's directed by Greta Gerwig. She did Lady Bird and the latest Little Women. You seen the latest Little Women?
No, I like
You
the older ones.
Yeah, you're strictly an OG Little Women fan.
Well, there's like an old one, and there's 94 with
Yeah.
Winona Ryder, which is the best one.
I know you
Oh,
ride
yeah.
hard for that one, but
Yeah.
so you don't. That's still not enough to move the needle, though.
No, but I know Saoirse's in it.
Okay.
And apparently Florence Pugh too.
Jesus Christ. Enough of that. It's co-written by Greta and Noah Baumbach. He did Kicking and Screaming and the absolutely unwatchable White Noise and some other movies. He wrote shit with fucking Wes Anderson, so they're just circle jerking each other. You got Margot Robbie as Barbie, who is beginning to feel existential dread in her Barbie world. So she gets guided by the weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, who tells her she needs to go to the real world and like commune with her doll operator. And unknowingly, on her journey, she gets a Ken with her main Ken, played by Ryan Gosling. When they wind up in the real world, they find it is not quite as the world they grew up with. And of course, once the Mattel Corporation finds out that they're on the loose, spearheaded by one Will Ferrell, they are now on the chase. It's a chase movie now. She finds her owner, America Ferrera, and that lady's daughter, played by Ariana Greenblatt, and they have to go back to Barbie world, I guess to run from the people and just to hang out at some point. And when they come back, Ken's mind has been poisoned by the real world, and then they gotta figure out how to set things right again. And also those corporate guys are part of it. It's a whole shindig. I think I liked more of this movie than I disliked, but I think that's not very fun. Someone's got to top that, right? Who liked it most?
I'll go ahead and put it up there with 1001 in Polite Society.
Okay.
S tier. S tier.
Jesus Christ. Okay, go on. Well, that counts as liking it a lot.
It's just trippy. It also resembles life at Bressy Ranch in Carlsbad. The next day I went and got a smoothie, got out of the car, recognized somebody, waved. It was nice and sunny, said hello. Another person waved at me, and it felt like a Barbie, like Barbie land.
Yeah, that is a full throttle phenomenon, right? Like the pink is everywhere.
Oh, the pink is everywhere. Yeah, at the skate park, people were wearing pink rollerblades and had like pink clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. But that has nothing to do with it. Anyway, the movie itself, it was just trippy and weird, and I thought Gosling was hilarious. I liked him getting poisoned in his brain and then bringing the patriarchy, which apparently is not about horses, back to Barbie land while Barbie was still trying to get out of jail. Was that what it was? No, she was...
she's just on the run from the Mattel people.
Yeah. I don't know. It had... I didn't go in taking it seriously, so I think that's why I was able to enjoy it fully, because it was just such a surreal experience, and I don't know, I felt it was just well done.
Yeah, I like the surrealist aspect to it. I was like thinking about like Pee-wee's Big Adventure or like Beetlejuice, like that era of Burton where it's not really spooky, it's just odd. All the set pieces.
Yeah, you walk up to a hill and the house is all strange and
all
weird.
The practical set pieces were great. All the costumes were like amazing. I like looking at pretty outfits on screen. Or like toys from Robin Williams, like just weird shit. That the surrealist aspect. I mean, it's I think very clearly like a visual thing, and the visuals were strong. I don't think that there's much in the terms of like the guts of the movie as far as like plot or character development or any way you would like analyze a real movie or look at a real movie. I think it's really just an excuse for that crazy visual stuff, and that stuff stuck with me in such a big way that it was like, all right, I'm in. I don't care that this is kind of vapid beyond that.
I was not impressed enough by the visuals to give this movie a pass.
Yeah.
And I went into it not expecting, I was like, it's a Barbie movie. Everyone's so excited about it. It's like billed as like the antithesis to Oppenheimer. It's like super bright and exciting and whatever. Yeah. And it was not that.
Well,
a friend of mine asked me, like she said she wanted to take her little niece to go watch the movie. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then after watching it, I was like, I don't know if it's worth taking like a kid to. It's not a movie for kids. And as a Barbie movie, that's weird. So it's like, most of the movie is not Barbie World, and Barbie World is the thing we like about the movie. I just can't imagine, like, walking around the theater afterwards, there's, like, tons of people just dressed up, like, gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie is the payoff that you want when you're ready to have a good time to go watch this movie.
Weren't people laughing in your screening?
No.
They were. Whoa.
Well,
There weren't
wasn't
that many people there.
Yeah, there was like 3 other people.
Oh, okay.
But it was,
oh, yeah, you guys went early in the day.
Yeah, they were chilling. I mean,
I went during prime time and it was raucous.
I'm sure because people don't want to have a bad time when they're dressed up and watching
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say
Barbie
people were
movie.
cheering the Mattel logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that tells you.
yeah,
anything.
it's like an event movie, and when I don't know, when something is like something to be excited for, and it's like built up as something to be excited for, they get excited for it, and it's got to be marketing on this stuff, right? When
I didn't see any marketing. It was when it started being like, oh, they're both coming out at the same time.
well, the memeing of it, like I think this movie is capitalizing on this. I don't know of a nicer way to put this, but like bimbo core aesthetic that's like kind of Instagram explore pagey, like hyper feminine, all pink everything, and that stuff was going on for a while, and then they announced this movie, and that side of the internet was like, yes, this is going to be our shit. So I think that, like, whatever you want to call that group of people, was very excited about this movie and would have eaten it up, kind of anything that it spit out. And I think it spit out enough of that, like I said, just cute outfits and celebrities that people like, and yeah, just really nice looking colors and everything.
I think I got interested in when we saw the trailer on the beach where the big leg comes down, because I think like tonally, I went, okay, I see what they're doing here. They're doing like, you know, the 2001 thing, you know, like, and it seemed so absurd and ridiculous in the preview that made me excited.
I'm kind of on the same page with you not in the sense that I don't think people will like it. I think people will clap. You know, I think they will be satisfied with their ticket. Probably because a lot of that marketing stuff just works very well on them. But I'm questioning the staying power of the movie.
Yeah, I would like to know how people feel about this if they watched it like we did.
Right.
Where it's not like a packed theater of people kind of feeding off the energy of each other, like, and trying to have a good time. I think that because there wasn't enough of the Barbie Land stuff,
right,
it's not the kind of movie that I would imagine somebody would watch a bunch and that would have staying power. But there could be people that are just like, I just love that Ken song so much that I'll just watch this over and over.
And I would include that in like the, you know, surrealism element of it.
Yeah,
like
the good part of it.
Yes.
Honestly, I think more Barbie Land would have worked against it because you don't have a lot of depth there.
Well,
You know what I mean?
It's a Barbie movie. That's what you're going to see.
No, but you can't can't really expand on hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie. This is great. Hi Barbie, hi Barbie.
There's Barbie cartoons, and that's what I would have hoped that this.
But
would
for the
be.
masses, well, I mean, it'd be for like young girls in a mass sense. But
I mean, like there's a Barbie world.
Yeah.
And they could have done a movie that was like in the Barbie world. There could have been a problem in the Barbie world that she could have fixed then.
But they're going for like a massive like cultural event, though. You know.
I think if they really wanted it to be like this huge, like this is crazy, they would have gone full surreal, full Barbie Land, and that would have been really fun. Like that's why people like big musical movies and stuff. Because it's like it's so big, and it's such a good time. This didn't do that.
I was thinking a lot of the Super Mario Brothers movie, because that was kind of what you're describing to an extent, where it's like 10% of that movie is quote unquote in the real world, but the rest of it is all in Mario Land.
Yeah.
And that's also, I guess, a franchise or IP, if you will, that's pretty thin on like plot and lore and all that. So they think they kind of did the safer version and also an easier version because it's, you know, animated and they're adapting it from a video game versus making a very live action human version of a toy. So this movie had a lot, was more difficult to pull off. But I guess I kind of felt similarly about the movies in that like, oh, that was fun. That was cool. Immediately just flushed out of my brain. And that's why I kind of question the staying power. And of Mario, I would say the same thing. It's like, I think everyone will see it and I think it'll make a shitload of money, set a huge fucking new bar for what is expected of a shitload of money.
Yeah. Yep.
And so will the Barbie movie, of course. But again, as far as like the substance part that kind of makes a movie live on after its time, I think a lot of this is being swept up in marketing, because I can't imagine someone 10 years from now getting to the parts where they're just like wall of text, Twitter speaking at you. And it's like the most like puddle, shallow, non-intersectional feminism just yelled in your face. It's such a fucking cowardly way to go about it. Because on one hand, it's like, bro, it's a Barbie movie. It can't be that serious. They can't get into how race and class intersect with the hegemony and all that. It's like, yeah, then why do it at all if you're just going to put out this like surface level stuff that's just there to make like, slimy male feminists clap their hands because they're trained like Pavlovian dogs to respond every time someone says men are bad, or reinforce this weird victim complex. And like, who's the villain? What's defeated? Why is the CEOs there at all? There's these loose threads. There's not
because it's madcap fun.
Well, then make it fucking fun and make it madcap. What's fun about, you gotta be skinny, but not too skinny, but no. Like, again, it's just tiresome. And I get that, obviously.
I don't think that was speaking to you.
Well, I don't.
Well, as a woman, it wasn't speaking to me either.
Okay.
And it's one of these things that it's like, do we like Barbie or do we not like Barbie? They're talking about stuff on screen that is like bad things people say about Barbie, right? But we're supposed to be celebrating this movie, which is showing Barbie. And when they fix the Barbie land, they go back to being like Barbie. So I don't know what the whole thing was that she was saying. Like, she's like, oh, you have to be this, you have to be that. And that snaps them out of, I don't know, being like in subservient roles or something.
Which they just switch into.
Yeah, it's just
magically.
Like, it's a light switch. It's
It
like,
kind of leans into the messaging of, just being a human in general, and what you have to endure in societies.
Yeah, but then they go back to being Barbie.
Yeah,
in
that's what we
Barbie
do too.
land.
I mean, we do that shit all the
So
time.
that's what I'm saying. Why bring that stuff up? It seems just weird.
I don't think it makes for like a satisfying, like, again, if it's just as far as like what's on the script, first act, second act, third act kind of structure stuff, I don't think there's like a satisfying payoff, and they literally beat the enemy of the movie by complaining, and like the complaints are like, yeah, it's just like that. So we're not like changing the aspects of this, we're just acknowledging them. Like, that shit is fucking weak, bro, to say like, oh, here's how we beat it, we acknowledge it.
Yeah.
How do you, that's not, and it's, what's the word? I think the phrase is white feminism, right? Where you're like you're okay with the power structures being in place the way they are. You just want you to be on top. And it's like, if the movie ends with like, Will Ferrell's head on a platter because they're, murdering corporate suits, and it's like, all right, well, that's a commitment. You committed to the bit. You truly toppled the hierarchy and the power structure. Great. But instead it's just, man, it's messed up that it's like that. Anyways, let's go back to it being like that and cue the song. I don't know. It's again, this is gutty work stuff, and it's sort of, on one hand, it's not the point, right? The point is pink, fun.
That's what you think the point is going to be, and then you get in there, and then more than half of the movie is like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, is telling you not to celebrate Barbie when you went there to celebrate Barbie?
Or oh, it's white savior Barbie. Get it? We're acknowledging that it's a white savior. Yeah, but you're still doing a white savior. So what is it? You want to have your cake and eat it too? You want it to be, it's a fun movie. Look at the dance sequence and listen, they got a Nicki Minaj song at the end. It's fun. Have fun. But then also let us fucking, wall of text you with the most shallow analysis you've ever seen.
I mean, some people could say, oh, well, it's like it's going to inspire the conversation that we need to have, but nobody ever actually has the conversation. You know what I mean? I'm like, where do I go to have that conversation?
Yeah, and there's not a solution posed, which is why it's cowardly, because the solution that they pose is literally to complain about it. And that's the means in and of itself.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
This is a fucking... Again, I liked more than I disliked. I had fun watching it.
Sound like it.
It just should have been two separate movies if you wanted to say one thing, put it in some other context.
And like I said, I bring up the Super Mario thing. That's sort of like the control group, right? That's like fun, bright, colorful nostalgia, no political analysis. Like, that is the apolitical dream of a movie.
This was like supposed to be something like that, but like, quote unquote, for the girls.
Right. And as an apolitical movie that Mario was, it was pretty forgettable. It was fun. It was great, but it was forgettable. So I just think it's fun to have. It's nice to have that as like, okay, here's what it could have been, and it's still not that great.
Yeah. But I think it's a good comparison with the Mario movie because it's like, here's something you remember from being younger. Sort of has a little bit more stuff so like an older audience can get it, but also kids. Because you want to spend time with Mario and friends in the Mario land. And then this was like, remember these Barbies from when you grew up? Kids are still playing with Barbies. Let's have fun in Barbie land. But then you don't get to have fun in Barbie land.
But when you do, it's a good time.
Yeah,
and there is like the throwbacks to the old toys and stuff was cool.
But, you know.
Justine, what was your relationship to Barbie before the movie?
I had Barbies.
Yeah.
I had lots of Barbies. And I even like collected, like there were Barbies of the world. And,
Oh, yeah.
You know, there were a bunch of different places. And I really like those. I'm not super one of those people that's like, Barbie is giving girls a bad image. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a doll. Like, I don't know what you want. But like, I can acknowledge that. But I liked them. I even had the ones that had the rollerblade that you like, you know, like you make it go really fast. You like wind it up kind of on the ground and then you let it go and it sparks.
Wild.
Yeah. Very cool. Fire hazard, but very cool.
Yeah, I not to kind of beat on the same drum here, but I feel like including all of that stuff in the movie or more of that stuff. I mean, maybe it's like, you know, it would be like too much sugar, you know, we need a little salt on the chocolate chip cookie to make it pop, you know, but it seems like if I was to think of what worked about the movie to me, like all the stuff like that they included, the weirdo Barbies and all of that stuff was a lot more interesting than you're a lady and you're getting oogled in the world. What an original concept. I never fucking seen that explored and beaten to death. Dylan, you saw the movie.
I did. I liked it. That's about the extent. Saw it in a packed theater. I don't know. People seem to enjoy it. I think the family in front of me was kind of weirded out because of, like Justine said, like there is some like adult humor in it. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. The dad seemed uncomfortable, if that makes sense. I'm sitting behind a dad. And like when they brought up vagina and penis and genitals, like the dad just like looked over like to the kids like, fuck. Like, fuck. I'm going to have to explain this. Fuck. Like, that's the look I saw. Like, I could see this man's face. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But other than that, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't really look too deeply into the Barbie movie. I just kind of took it for what it was, and I don't know. I had a fun time, I guess. The person I was with also, we were just like liking the film. I don't know. Can't explain it more than that. I didn't like at one point like look at my phone or felt like I should. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't feel like I should look at the time, other than to see if I was going to make it to Oppenheimer the next showing or not. That's the only time I looked at my phone, was to make sure that I was like on time.
You have a feeling about like rewatchability or longevity, anything like that?
I'm actually rewatching it at some point.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Yeah, I think hopefully I get to rewatch it once, but if I rewatch it twice, I'd be fine. But hopefully, it's for the sake of time, I'll just watch it once.
The best part was the Ryan Gosling song, the Ken song. That was when you get to have the bright, weird stuff going on. So this movie was like it wanted to be on some IMAX screens too.
Oh.
Like, why would you need it? Except for that one part.
Right.
That one part's cool, but everything else is kind of whatever. I mean, it's not whatever. It looks good in Barbie Land, but I don't think you needed to see it like all huge.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'll look fine on a TV.
Yeah. TV.
So are we going to say are we a Barbie girl? Or have you had enough of this? For me, it's a Barbie world. I mean, again, I shit on it. I don't think it's you just don't see those kind of set pieces and like practical like costumes and all of the razzle dazzle stuff. That was kind of that was like, I don't know. Yeah, it took me back to like a different time in movies, I guess, when that kind of surrealist stuff was more common. And I guess I had like a weird nostalgia trip from that, not from like Barbie stuff or anything, but just from seeing like big set pieces and painted backgrounds, and then they're riding on the rocket and there's like the thing going by. I'm glad they did that they milked that trip back and forth montage, but I'm cool with it because it all looked really good. So yeah, the visual stuff was fine. I think it's pretty contemptible as far as like what it thinks it is or the levels of pretension in it. I do think it could have been a lot more fun, but you know, I'm just there for the visuals. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have been a Barbie girl.
Right.
I'd like to hang out in the Barbie world. And I think some of that happens in this movie. So it's worth seeing for, yeah, like the Barbie world parts. I wish that they had had a more coherent message. Like I said, do we like Barbie or do we not like Barbie? I really liked America Ferrera in this and her character. But I think that story could have been way cooler. She could get like down on her real life. So she's like making all those weird Barbies that's making Barbie malfunction. And then Barbie kind of reminds her of what Barbie stands for, you know, and they acknowledge the bad things that people could get from Barbie, but that initially the Barbie was made for this. And they even have an appearance of the creator of Barbie who doesn't defend it at all. It's weird. She should have been like, I'm so glad that you rediscovered what Barbie is all about. Go forth into the world and be empowered.
Yeah.
I love that she spent most of her time talking about tax evasion, though. That was funny.
Strange.
They taught, yeah, it's like they treated it like that was going to be the like great moral voice of reason.
Nope.
Yeah.
But then it just didn't happen. It was just presented as it was, and then it was treated as if it was.
Yeah.
Like,
but
oh,
she didn't really say anything.
Everyone react as if what you just heard was significant, but it was kind of just fluff.
Yeah. So it made me sad, but it was nice to look at. A lot of it was anyway.
I'm a Barbie girl. I had a great time. I thought it was funny. I thought it was bright, surreal, absurdist. A lot of stuff that I like when I go to the movies because, I don't know, a lot of times I go and it's just kind of boring and bland, and this definitely wasn't. I haven't participated much in the culture aspect of it, but it's definitely all around and ubiquitous, and it's interesting to watch. I don't have any judgment on it. I just have noticed that all of a sudden everybody's wearing pink.
Yeah, it's wild to see, like on the streets and everything. I kind of work by a theater, so I'll see people walking past. I'm like, that's a pink polo. That guy's going to see some Barbie.
Mm.
You know, I am a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
Oppenheimer is the other movie event of the summer, they would have you believe. This is the new Christopher Nolan movie. You might have recognized that name from a little thing called The Dark Knight, the Inceptions, the Dunkirks. Last movie was Tenet. Easy to forget that. You got Cillian Murphy. He stars as the titular J. Robert Oppenheimer, who, as you find out in this film, was sort of spearheading a program to get the atomic bomb off the ground and, depending on who you talk to, end World War II. And I guess you would say it's a character study, though probably more of an autobiography. Biopic. Just a regular old biopic on this Oppenheimer fella as he goes through his trials and tribulations. It gets into him, like, he's basically kind of, after making the bomb, starts to speak out about it, and that's when I guess you would say the villain of the film, Lewis Strauss, played by Robert Downey Jr., he's like kind of spearheading this McCarthy era campaign against Oppenheimer, and that's how the movie's framed, right? They're sort of like, here's everything you've done that's bad, or why we don't like you, and we're trying to take away his security clearance, which we're just gonna take at their word is a big deal. And so this trial thing, his moral trial, is sort of the centerpiece of the film, kind of. But through that, you learn about him building the bomb and everything. Justine, I think you liked the movie.
I did.
You
like
told
the
me
movie.
You liked the movie.
Yeah.
Why did you like the movie?
Well, it looked really good. I liked 2/3 of the movie a lot.
What 2/3?
The first part of the movie is kind of like building up Oppenheimer, like he's learning stuff at school. He's taking different positions, kind of just building up the character. The second half, or the second portion, is the coolest because it's the science part.
The
and you get
bomb
to see
building
the bomb
part,
and stuff. that's really neat. And it's sort of just amazing that they built, the town like
Right.
they had built it back then. And obviously, you get to see the explosion and stuff and
Yeah.
what he did with the effects, and it's just impressive. And then the latter portion is, more of the trial stuff, which is it's a little dry, but
Procedural? Is that a fair, good word for it?
I don't know.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, a lot of question,
Yeah.
a lot of interrogation. That's what it kind
Was
of
your brother a
is.
communist? He wasn't a communist, but he thought he knew a communist once. So he talked to a guy who was a communist. He
Yeah, it's just
considered
like-
himself a communist at one point, but then he stopped when I was talking to him. So, but at one point,
So it's a little stressful and a little much. So you get a little lost just from it being stressful the whole time.
right?
So I didn't like that part as well, but I understand it as like, I'm assuming that that's something that spoke to Christopher Nolan
Okay.
in the adaptation of this. Like, this is something that he just thought was really interesting. He could have gone a lot of different ways with different stuff in Oppenheimer's life. And the fact that he chose that, I'm like, all right, that's just what stood out to him and part of the story that he wanted to tell. So, I mean, I guess, you can do that. I guess I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't more of just the aftermath of the bomb and kind of what Oppenheimer
Right.
did. It was mostly centered on the security clearance issue and the cabinet member
Strauss.
approval or
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
their beef with him.
For the Robert Downey Jr. character.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever. 2/3 of it I really enjoyed.
Dylan, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm not doing this to be mean because I would never be mean to you, Dylan.
Go on.
Can you ask the question that you asked before we started recording regarding J. Robert Oppenheimer?
Oh, I was like, what did I ask? I don't remember. Is J. Robert Oppenheimer dead?
And I like that question, Dylan. I really do.
Thank you.
Because I think that shows a pretty big shortcoming of the film, in my estimate, is that they don't really show you like anything after he kind of gets fired, or if I don't even, it
Just doesn't get his clearance.
doesn't get his security clearance, and then it's just like end of film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm with you that the trial stuff was. I'll give you. Yeah, I think this is a final cut issue. This is like a guy who's just like, you don't fucking tell me no.
Yeah.
This is his Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, where he just gets to put everything he wants on the screen, and no one can tell him shit because he gave him fucking The Dark Knight. I think. I think.
You ready? Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll join you. Let's go.
Oh, you get your shit off.
You could Control V the criticisms that were just lobbed at the Barbie movie, and those are my almost exact opinions on this movie. Didn't learn much about Oppenheimer that wasn't already known. Wasn't really developed. Don't know what they wanted to say about Oppenheimer necessarily. I hate that Christopher Nolan cannot make a scene longer than 22 seconds. It's just, it flows like crap. He always needs to chop up time. And in this one, it didn't do him any favors because you're just like flashing from color to black and white and just interspersing it nonstop every 22 seconds. It was pretty unwatchable for me, and the entire theater was bored. I think people were expecting like more bomb, more aftermath. Not me. I just was like, I was dreading watching this movie, and I just endured it. But yeah, just watching the crowd versus the crowd at Barbie, like this one seemed to be a miss, whereas Barbie seemed to connect with just a general audience.
Yeah. I mean,
I was surprised when all the meme stuff started coming around because I was excited for this movie
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
of
you
it
definitely
being
were, yeah.
J. Robert Oppenheimer and
Yeah.
the Manhattan Project. And I was like, why do people act like they care about this movie? This
Exactly.
is not
Yeah,
a movie
yeah,
that
yeah.
they're going to care about.
Right.
So I'm not at all surprised that people who were like, I'm going to go see this because it's
Christopher
Oppenheimer.
Nolan.
And then
It's
it's like,
because it's Christopher
no,
Nolan.
that's not.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
because
He's
it
got-
was
he's
like
got a
a
cult.
meme thing that people were like, well, now I got to go see both.
Oh,
well,
it's
that
a
fucking
thing to
cult
do.
was not there for Tenet, and I don't think
Was
that
Tenet in theaters?
ish.
I thought Tenet was just COVID.
It was COVID pushback. I think
Yeah.
it was like, fuck you, it's coming out in theaters. And then it came out in theaters when wherever it could. And it was definitely hurt by it because you just didn't want to keep pushing it back.
That's right.
But, you don't hear Tenet. No one's talking about Tenet.
No.
and I think with Dunkirk, which is a movie I liked a lot, that wasn't like there was like the memeing of Dunkirk versus this. There was no like, yo, it's Dunkirk weekend, LOL.
Yeah.
We're dressing up like World War I guys. So I don't know. I'm as confused as you are. I don't know why
If
the
anybody
meme aspect
in the
of
world was like, hey, do you want to watch a 3-hour biopic
That's crazy.
about a
Yeah.
scientist? No, I don't want to see that. Or do you want to watch Barbie?
it. Yeah.
Obviously, everybody in the world is going to watch Barbie, and only because of the memes, they're going to watch both, and then they're going to be bummed
Right.
that they watched something
Yeah.
that was not intended to be a meme.
Yeah. And I mean, I had problems with it, like the technical aspects of the
yeah.
movie. Like
Jesus.
the score to me was just like, you don't need to do this the whole time.
Well,
Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, here's what the movie felt like to me. It felt like in a normal movie at the end, like a normal, I don't know, thriller or drama, at the end there'll be like a 2-minute segment where a main character will flash back and put all the pieces together, and that helps the audience put it together. Then you realize the impact of what happened, and it gets resolved. This felt like 3 hours of that section, you know,
The whole thing was
the whole
montage.
thing was at right down to what you're talking about, the music, where it's just like constantly building and building and building.
It was only that last third that was really like that.
well,
And I think that it was, like I said, it was long and it was always like that. So it was really tense that it sort of just seemed like this is going on.
I clocked what you clocked in the first 2 hours as well.
no,
Colin.
the score thing was, the score was overbearing in this
Yes.
film from beginning till the end. And I think Christopher Nolan does intensity really well. Hence why, you know, Dunkirk was, to me, a great movie, because it was just like, we got to go. Here's the stakes. Go. And you're just
Yeah.
like in it. And like, you can have that kind of intensity the whole time. I think they were applying that same level of like, we got to do this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And it's like, I think you're in the wrong class, Oppenheimer.
Oppie?
You should be studying practice, not theory.
It's not like
It was watch them. Well, I'm gonna watch the movie again. I'm gonna watch
Dylan,
it.
did you
with
see
you.
this movie?
You're crazy.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you think that the whole thing was like that?
The whole thing?
Yeah,
Not the
they're
whole
saying
thing,
that
no.
the whole thing
There
was
was
like
funny scenes. I'll notice. I'm trying to remember.
Tell me the funny scenes.
No. I'm talking with the score in it.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm saying, like there'd be parts where it's like Matt Damon's talking to Oppenheimer, and he's all like, "We're trying to make a fuck." What are they talking about?
A bomb.
Bomb?
No, not the bomb. The dates. We need it ready by July
July,
15th. And I'm just like, that's fucking awesome.
I mean, yeah.
Like it'd just be on random parts, not so much like I understood like when they were actually making the bomb.
Yeah, all
like,
of that stuff was like
And-
totally perfect.
and understandable. I feel like I remember the sex scene having that, but I don't remember. But that just could just be me remembering it the way I wanted to, which is like they're having sex, she's on top of them, and then it's just like I'm like, yes, read this Sanskrit.
Oh,
What do the words say?
that was the cringe. I'm
Read
sorry.
this Sanskrit.
no, I was offended.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Any,
I think that happened.
I
It
don't.
definitely happened. And Christopher Nolan is a historian.
Yeah,
he knows
I'm
these
saying.
It
things.
sucks because that is like the one fucking piece of the one crossover that this poor man has into the world of pop culture, and they fucking took it out in the back of a shed and murdered it.
I can't even like the like the video that is like everywhere of him saying this is like, how could you do that to him?
I know.
And that
so
actually
offensive.
that whole part, I was just kind of confused. I was like, Nolan, who told you to put this entire scene in here?
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary.
did.
It seemed really off character.
I'm down with them being like, actually, Oppenheimer was a certified freak. Like, that's cool. All the stuff with like the lefty politics, I thought was interesting to include. Like, I think if I were to, posit a guess, like they're trying to show, and what I appreciated about this movie a lot, things I appreciated about this movie, Cillian Murphy fucking killed it. I love this guy as an actor, or the way he took on this role. I think that you're so used to seeing like, I'm an obsessive guy about one thing and my whole thing is this one thing. And I think this movie, maybe the freaky sex stuff is a little bit of a heavy-handed way to achieve it, but I think it's a way of saying like, hey, this guy wasn't just single-mindedly obsessed with bombs. He understood like hey, you got to give some money to some like Spanish freedom fighters. You got to be a kind of well-rounded person. And it's interesting to see someone who like accomplished this crazy thing and was like a crazy genius who wasn't, Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Like he was, if you were a freak like in the 40s, fucking respect.
I tried to get, I am become death tattooed, my first tattoo today, but man, all those shops were full.
That's
It was inspired by that scene because it's such a good scene.
you just don't need to, not while he's doing, I don't mind the sex stuff. Have him fuck all he wants, but like, don't make him read the one line. That was bad.
That was sick,
was
honestly.
badass,
I kind of
right,
liked
Dylan?
it. I kind of
Fuck
like
yeah,
that
dude.
scene. I was like, oh, that's how he did
Dude,
it.
if I got that like Sanskrit on my forearm,
You
it'd be
think
so
like
good.
you think she could that lady read Sanskrit?
Oh, like she could check him?
She was,
Yeah, like read that thing. I am death. And then he says
Damn.
it again. And then
Facts.
okay, you can read this.
Damn.
And then he says
okay.
it again to Matt Damon when you're talking about the dates, and then Matt Damon just goes, "Whoa, that just happened." That's a Twitter meme. I'm taking that. I'm not gonna tag it.
But I thought they did like a great job of I don't know. It was very like immersive, and I think that's another thing that Nolan does like well when he does these period pieces. And we've seen a lot of period pieces, and we've seen period pieces done very poorly. There wasn't a period where I was like, oh, they just had to shoot this in the 40s to avoid using cell phones or something. Like, okay, this movie felt like it was in the era it was taking place in. Like Indiana Jones didn't really feel like a 70s movie, or it didn't feel like it was taking place in the 70s as much as this movie did that it was taking place.
Well,
when
you
it was
didn't answer
taking place.
Dylan. Is he still alive?
Well, we'll never know based on
Yeah.
this film because they don't talk about anything after it.
Yeah, sadly, I thought they would show him being old or like text on screen. He dies.
Well, let's turn to our expert to find out what happens after what takes place in this movie.
He wants to continue working, but then they're like, oh, he's a commie. Get him out of here. They don't give him his security clearance. So he's just like, well, I'll just go do something else. But meanwhile, he was going to like talk against using nuclear weapons because the whole point was to make something so awful. They're like, they're going to ask for it. The Nazis are going to make it. We're going to make it first and then show people don't do this. And instead, they were like, you should build the H-bomb. And he's like, no. It was the opposite of what he wanted to happen. So they were basically like, yeah, thanks, bye. We're going to do this bigger thing now. And so he was really sad, and he advocated against, nuclear armament and stuff. And really, like they talked about it in the movie where he was saying, no, we need to, now that we've seen what this does, we need to start to get like everybody on board to not do this. And so basically he just tried to do that while continuing, like doing his research and whatnot. And I mean, I don't think that they showed it as much as he had. There's like footage of it and stuff, but you rarely see him without a cigarette. And he died of cancer later on. That's what happened. But he ended up living like his last days on this island, like really secluded, so that he could just like live his last days in peace. And rumor has it or something also that he was like was really paranoid about like nuclear war and stuff, and then was like, this will be a place that won't get fallout so much. So like he had his family there. And then died there too. Actually, end of last year, they vacated that security clearance fiasco. Posthumously, he gets it back.
A lot of good.
A lot of good. Yeah. Why do you think they didn't put that latter part in?
And I am really sad that they didn't, because it was when he was well old that when he says that line. Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, if you listen to it. Yeah.
And that is such like an iconic moment, a powerful moment that's partially why it's so offensive that they just like threw it in during that awful scene.
Right.
And there's this big thing behind it, which is like, so there's a guy and he doesn't want to go to war. And then this God is like, you have to, it's your duty. Mm-hmm. This is what you need to do. And then he's like, all right, I'll do it in the Bhagavad Gita. And so that's kind of part of why he's quoting it, which is like, he doesn't want to be a part of this destructive thing, but it's his duty. He does it anyway. And then he's like, oh my God, what did I do? you know?
And I think that's like kind of the part of the character that I wanted to spend time with, which is like, how do you have a big old brain? Like, first of all, stop there.
Yeah.
What's that like? How do you have a big old brain? And then how do you fucking live with that? And while having a big old brain, it's not like he's this gung-ho guy that can fall behind some kind of ideology. Like, he's just a guy with a big old brain. And how do you live with it?
Across the board, everything is like, yeah, he was really disturbed by what happened, you know. And I also, like I said, I wish that they had done more of that instead of that procedural stuff, but that was something that Nolan wanted to do. So that he's a weirdo, but for picking that.
I think I got the sense really that maybe there was a few big scenes that he wanted to shoot and things that he wanted to see. And I feel like everything that wasn't bomb explode and crazy visions was just like garnish, like an afterthought. And I thought that kind of did a disservice to the movie. But that said, I don't know. It's almost like a fucking, what's that comedian, the Man on the Moon guy?
Andy Kaufman?
Andy Kaufman. It's like an Andy Kaufman bit where it's like, I'm going to have a nuclear bomb movie. It's going to be so fucking loud. There's going to be unbearable just dialogue and score constantly happening. Not a moment of rest, not a moment of silence, except for when the bomb goes off, which is a brilliant, maybe not brilliant. It's an interesting concept in theory. In practice, I think it's, like I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. And I don't think you're making a well-rounded film, but you are getting some fucking cool shit off on screen. I'll give you that. So yeah, I'm kind of I guess I liked more than I disliked about Barbie. I think I disliked more than I liked about this movie, but I did like some stuff in it. I will watch again. I also will asterisk my experience because I was in an fucking IMAX. I don't like IMAX movies. It was so loud. I was probably cranky.
He was in a bad mood.
I was in a bad mood.
The theater was packed.
The theater was packed.
Yeah.
There's a lot working against it. I want to be a fucking pedantic dickhead and actually like clock the amount of screen time that does not have score. In my mind, I think it's 12 minutes out of 3 hours. And I'm going to stand by that.
You're probably pretty close.
I also don't want to, if I watch it again, I don't want to ruin it by fucking clicking the stop clock. But whatever. Maybe I'll watch it a couple more times.
Colin,
I don't know.
You're the one that got me to break off of watching movies in 3D, 4DX, and all that stuff. And I got in that habit, and I started to really appreciate it. And I'm glad that I stuck with it on this one because you saw the movie before I did, and you mentioned how ungodly loud it was and how the mix was just blaring the entire time. The 2D version wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
there was still a weird mix, but it wasn't. I didn't feel any fatigue or stress too much on my eardrums. And then like visually, it was cool. You know what I mean? But maybe that's where the IMAX would have enhanced it. Although I saw a lot of criticism about the IMAX experience, not just the sound, but people saying like, yeah, like a lot of times these IMAX movies, they're like set up for like in like a planetarium type setting.
Right.
So when you're, if you get, a seat after the first rush of people, like you're getting this bent screen and you don't even know what you're really looking at anyway. So
yeah, I mean, this is fake IMAX. It wasn't like that intense. I was really in it for the aspect ratio. Like if he shot it in this way, I want to watch it in this way. And like, okay, so Dark Knight was one of my, like seeing that in IMAX, and the proper IMAX in Irvine was like one of my favorite movie-going experiences of all time. I'll bring this up till the day I die. Like there's about 7 minutes in that movie that's like IMAX format. And so it's like you're watching, Bruce Wayne and his butler talk, and it's like, okay, cool, regular talk stuff. And then he's jumping out of a building. And when he jumps out of the building, boom, baby, you're in the grand slam mode, and the shit comes down on the bottom of the screen, and it's like, whoa, it's like the exclamation point on the movie, And this movie, obviously, like the bomb being the centerpiece, that explosion, which again, I was sold on, like, fuck yeah, cool.
Okay.
That happens, but then there's just some folks walking down, some people in a college classroom, and like
narrow
that's,
room with a table in the middle. Yeah.
And if that is the same bigness, to use a technical film terminology. Sorry to lose everyone listening at home. To do the same bigness for the college classroom as for the atom bomb, you just fucking ruined the whole point of having this like exclamation point holstered. And so I don't know. Since given that the vast majority of the film is not an atom bomb going off or like a horrific vision of nuclear explosion, then like, yeah, I will say just as a my 2 cents is you don't need to watch this in the IMAX. You'll be fine.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in the standard, so
Yeah.
I would have to see it to compare because it was cool, and I don't have a problem with it. Just I could see how it might be like more exciting when it goes to the big screen, but whatever. Just you can do it the whole time too.
Yeah.
There are a lot of scenes where you wouldn't think that it would get big, but that look really cool, like all the desert.
Right.
Like, I liked seeing that in IMAX, and I don't know that it would be like an exclamation point if you did it then. The whole part of when they're about to do the test detonation, it's raining and all
Yeah.
that stuff, that looks really cool. And I also don't think that would be an exclamation part either, but I'm glad that it was in IMAX.
Again, I do respect Nolan's like way to do intensity. Like this is stressful. He does that stuff really well. So of course all that was like, are we going to blow up the whole world? Who knew if they were going to blow up the whole world? No, they were saying there was a chance.
Yeah.
So
It's not zero.
yeah. Okay. So is Oppenheimer, is it the bomb or a bomb? To me, thinking about both of these movies, I'm thinking to what you said, Brent, about just not seeing something that was kind of unique and different. And I think both of these movies were different. So I appreciate getting to see 2 movies that weren't like, we saw Mission Impossible last week. I liked Mission Impossible, but that was very much so nothing there you haven't seen before, And yeah, both these movies were unique. I think I had more fun during the fun movie, and I had more of a boring time during the boring movie.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to watch the boring movie again, and I probably will be fine being one and done with Barbie. But I'll still say, yeah, maybe the more I'm talking myself into liking this movie, I think it might be. Well, it's not the bomb, but it's a grenade.
Bomb Jason.
It's not the
Sparkler.
bomb. It's not a bomb.
The Black Snake.
I may need to. I'm going to watch it again before. I'm going to reserve judgment because there might be something else in there. I feel like there might be something else in here.
It's the bomb. It's the A bomb. It's the H bomb. It's not the H bomb. It's the A bomb.
It's actually the
I liked it, and I stan J. Robert Oppenheimer for a long time. I just think he's a really interesting person. And so I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more in-depth coverage of him, like how he thinks and stuff like that, But there's a lot to tell, and I did think, with like you were saying, all like this might have been the cut that Nolan wanted. This is one of those instances where this probably could have been a mini series. Then he would have been able to kind of get into everything.
Yes.
But then instead, he had to choose the thing that interested him the most, and that wasn't what interested me the most. But
Bureaucracy.
I didn't make the movie,
Yeah.
so I liked it for what it was. And again, it looks really good. And I just remember that there's a scene. I think he's like freaking out because he's starting to like have visions of people exploding and stuff, but it gets all like vibrating behind him. And I was like, oh, that happens to him when he's Scarecrow.
Yeah, callback.
Oh yeah,
callback.
for sure.
I thought of something else I need to bring up since we brought up the bureaucracy thing and the McCarthyism element. I'm not saying I think it's relevant to the current times. And I don't think it was really made with that relevancy in mind, but I could see like it's when the whole world feels like we're sliding back into like we're about 2 steps away from bringing back segregation. I could see why you would maybe want to make a movie that's like, hey, this time sucked. Like, here's this guy, he was like a hero, and they were so fucking puritanical that they couldn't handle his political affiliation. So maybe all this shit you guys are doing right now where you're fucking crucifying people over their political affiliations and, making everyone, essentially stand trial to some extent. Like, maybe don't do that so much. Maybe this doesn't look cool here, right? So don't do that in the real world, maybe. This is just fan fiction that I'm a thought.
I did also want to mention that everybody did an amazing job acting.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I really liked Emily Blunt. She was his wife.
Kitty.
Kitty had been married 3 times before. you can get away with that now, but back then that was frowned upon.
Yeah, they were freaks.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Smart people,
Yeah. Same rules don't apply.
you're not on their level.
All that morality is for the unwashed masses.
Yeah.
You got a big old brain. You do what the hell you want.
Justine, I got a quick question before we move on to the next review. Did Oppenheimer's hat always get bigger as time went on?
Comically larger.
Like the brim is what got longer that I noticed. I was like, it started off short, now it's like really long in the beginning, or when he first gets that hat.
It was smaller.
It was way shorter,
Yeah.
and then as time went on, he got a longer brim hat.
And at times stiffer, but then it got floppy after the actual
Yeah,
bomb. Yeah.
Well, that was like his signature hat. I could probably see him having like a bigger hat for being in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I wonder if
Curious
that was
George
factual.
style proportions.
Christopher Nolan's like, oh, oi, mate, fucking, he had a hat. Let's make it shorter at the first time.
Look, Cillian Murphy is Irish. They were like, all right, he just needs a bigger hat. He
Give him a bigger
same
hat.
hat, but like a little bigger. Shield him.
Yeah.
Like Justine, I was/am a J. Robert Oppenheimer stan to the point where at one point in my life, 2004, actually staged a concert and played it in Los Alamos, specifically just because I thought it'd just be a cool novelty. So I had a lot of anticipation for what would be happening here. And yeah, it felt like an unfinished, miniseries. I felt it could have been on TV and been better. The bomb stuff, it's fine, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think a lot of times when there's these anticipated movies, people, without having seen the movie, like put a lot of. They make it precious, so they're like, man, he invented a new way to film explosions for this. This is gonna blow your mind. So I kind of went in expecting to have my mind blown at the explosions, but it looked like, I don't know, a lot of the action movies I watched from the 70s, where you just kind of slow down the fire and you just look at it.
They overlapped like 4 different explosions.
Yeah.
Well, he had to make it look like an A-bomb looks, the
Yeah.
detonation, which
That footage exists.
different,
So, I don't know. I wasn't, I went in with high anticipation for that particular scene and kind of underwhelmed. And then, the rest of it, I was just like, why are you just jumping around to different eras constantly? And why is every scene 22 seconds long? For me, it was unfortunately a bomb. I had a lot of high hopes for it. I think somebody will tell his story much better than this.
I thought it was the bomb. I like the all-star cast of Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Ajax from the Warriors, the lead kid from Sky High, one of the Safdie brothers, Olivia Thirlby,
Rami Malek,
aka Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury, aka Mr. Robot.
Did you say Han Solo?
Huh?
Did you say Han Solo? Was he one of those people in those movies?
Is he? No, I said Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury. That's who he played, and Mr. Robot. Josh Peck from Drake and Josh fame. He made a face where it looked like he says Megan and Drake and Josh, and I was like, oh, this is about to take me out of the movie. It's when he was supposed to press the red button if the needles went off. And I was like, anyway, he did a great job. Everyone was good. I like the Sky High kid. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad Polka Dot Man from he was cool.
That Christopher Nolan needs to keep making movies to keep giving that guy a job. He puts him in everything.
Yeah.
He was the guy that the Joker took hostage in Dark Knight.
And then he's one of the guys. Well, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's in The Boogeyman as the guy that first gets haunted by the Boogeyman.
Damn.
He's an Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's an Ant-Man. Oh yeah, he's like the homie.
Yeah, he plays the Russian guy.
There's another guy that he put in that movie, and I'm like blanking. I'm just happy Ajax from the Warriors is still around to like do a Christopher Nolan movie, like a popular one or like a really well talked about one. I feel like between the Warriors and now, it's like he didn't really do much other than be a cop or like someone you're not supposed to like in a movie, and now he's just like a guy for 5 seconds. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have about Oppenheimer.
I have a game for you guys to play with me for fun. It's just for fun, guys. This is Tubi or Not Tubi. I'm taking reins of the Tubi craze that's sweeping the nation. I'm going to give you 4 plots and years and titles of movies. 3 of them are real films that you can watch right now on Tubi. One of them is a work of fiction. Now, you're probably thinking back to my old days where I would use AI to come up with these plots. Those days are not here because it's the writer's strike. That's what they're striking for. They're saying don't use this stuff. So I'm going to listen to them, and I'm not using it. So the fake movie is all from my noggin. So
you're not striking?
No, I'm
You're also not part of the guild.
Yeah,
Scab.
exactly. I'm not part of the guild. They didn't let me. I'd like to join them. I'll join them if I can strike.
Reporter.
Yeah, journalist.
Oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
you can still work then. You're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So you only got 3 rounds of this. You got to sit through. Is it on Tubi or not Tubi? We're going to start with the beloved Revamped from 2007. This is the horror section, by the way, of Tubi, which goes on forever. Probably the biggest section there.
It doesn't end.
Doesn't end.
You won't be able to get through it.
Yeah, you can't. I tried.
And if I get through it, we're not talking watching. We're talking literally scrolling
Yeah,
through.
just scroll through.
Yeah.
It does not end.
Yeah. Revamped, 2007. Successful businessman Richard Clark is bitten by a beautiful vampire and is plunged into the dark world of the supernatural. Richard quickly realizes that being undead isn't all that it's cracked up to be. That is A, Revamped. Is the fake movie B, ZMD, Zombies of Mass Destruction from 2010. An idyllic island town is under attack by that most invasive of pets, zombies. Port Campbell is being overrun with brain eaters and the people seem powerless to stave them off. But wait, a ragtag band of rebels is trying to turn the tide and push the invading hordes of undead back. Is it C, Lil Killa? Dismayed by his streaming numbers on Noise Nebula, underground rapper Conscious Kyle gets a cursed face tattoo that leads to his possession by the rapping demon Lil Killa. As the demon racks up kills, Kyle racks up streams with his new brand of murder mumble rap. 2018, remember. Will Kyle keep it real, or will he lose the rap battle for his very soul? And D, you have to determine, is it real or is it fake? The one closest to you. Lele is a young woman embarking on a new life with her husband-to-be. She and Mitch seem destined for eternal love. To celebrate, she and 4 of her closest friends decide to go on a weekend getaway at a lake house owned by her friend Tammy. While at the lake house, they get more than they bargained for, as each lady, one by one, comes up missing. Who is to blame? The shocking surprise will leave you gasping for air. Which is the fake? Revamped from 2007? ZMD from 2010? Lil Killa from 2018, or the one closest to you from 2016? Justine, which one is not on Tubi?
These all sound so good.
And they all sound very, very much so like Tubi horror movies.
Yeah. I'm going to say you made up the last one with the cabin.
The one closest to you?
Yeah.
That's D for Justine.
2016 is the one closest to you. Is definitely you wrote that.
Okay. So it's 2 answers for D.
B.
You say ZMD, Zombies of Mass Destruction,
Yes.
was a work of fiction.
Yes.
It's a clean sweep. None of you got it right. I invented Lil Killa.
Oh, I really wanted that
the
to be
SoundCloud
real.
rapper.
That did sound real.
It's so on the nose. That's how I. Welcome to the world.
That
of
was my
human.
second choice, and
Yeah.
I was like, nah, it might have been real.
So so we can watch the one closest to you.
But I want to watch Lil Killa.
I know.
I was
sound
hoping
pretty
that was
good,
the real
right?
one, yeah.
We were willing it into existence.
I know. Yeah.
Because I was like trying to figure out like, okay, like a curse tattoo, the sigil. No, I can't say sigil. Everyone will know it's fake if I say sigil.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a conscious rapper and you get like a face tattoo and then you turn into a demon and then you kill people and then you can talk about doing bad stuff.
You know what I really liked?
What's
Is, what was the fake SoundCloud? Noise Nebula. That's good.
I don't know why some of these descriptions are so specific in what they do.
When you were reading it, like I thought that was the one that you wrote, but then when you read the last one, I was like, this is kind of pedestrian. I'm just going to go with that. Yeah.
Now, the next section is comedy. And remember, you are to determine which of these is on Tubi, and more importantly, which one is not Tubi streaming presently. Fast fashion. from the year 2022. Oh, yeah, that's why I picked this one. We've been talking, a great debate on this very podcast is the lack of comedies currently being made. And, well, I'm here to share with you comedies from the last 5 years.
Alive and well.
All on Tubi, except for one, which is not Tubi. Fast Fashion from 2022. Kara is a down-on-her-luck aspiring fashion designer. Unable to find a position with any major fashion brand, she designs a racing suit for her sister's NASCAR debut, causing a stir in both the fashion and racing world. The speedway meets the runway in this heartwarming tale of family fashion and fun. That is 2022's Fast Fashion. Option B, Jerry Curls, 2021. It's a curling movie. You know the sport curling? Jerry Curls from 2021. Gordon joins forces with an unlikely ally to fight his half-sister for the family inheritance and his rightful place among South Florida's curling elite. That is 2021. Jerry Curls. 2019. Man Camp. After losing their dad as kids, the three man, that's with two N's, a surname, the three man boys return to the family cabin every year to remember him. But when they walk in on their mom with a secret fiance, their trip becomes a wild test to see if he's man, two N's, enough to join the family. That is C, Man Camp from 2019. Or is the fake movie D, The Gingerweed Man? The Gingerweed Man runs a successful dispensary delivery service catering to a wide array of wacky clientele. But when he gets charged with protecting little baby Buddy, a mysterious super strain weed dude that is wanted by every bad vibe in the city, mad misadventures follow. Which one is not to be?
First one was NASCAR. The
Fast
second
Fashion.
Oh,
Fast
yeah,
Fashion
yeah.
from 2022.
The second one was
Jerry Curls
the curling one.
from 2021.
Third one is Man Babies.
Man Camp.
Man
Man
Camp.
Camp.
Two ends.
The title is just one in.
Oh,
Figure it out.
okay.
And then we
Gingerweed
have
Man
Gingerweed.
is D.
Gingerweed.
You say gingerweed is not to be.
Yeah, I need C to be real, so I'm not going to go with that one. I want to watch that movie. Jerry Curls. If I wasn't familiar with Tubi, I might be like, that's totally fake. But I am familiar with Tubi.
But to be clear, you're more familiar with the horror side. The comedy side.
Where do you think I watched Can't Buy Me Love tonight, Colin?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And then let's see.
Fast Fashion.
Yeah, Fast Fashion definitely. That definitely happened. Son of a bitch. I guess I'll have to go D again as well.
Okay. Brent is saying that the Gingerweed Man is the fake one.
There's a bunch of ginger.
There's a lot of weed stuff on Tubi.
A lot of weed stuff, a lot of ginger, like baked good horror. But I don't think that one exists.
Dylan?
I'm going to go A.
Dylan says that Fast
Fashion.
Fashion from 2022 is the fake. And Dylan is completely correct. 2018. And I used Google Trends to look up when fast fashion was used the most. It was 20, or when it was looked up the most.
Well, as long as
Man Camp? Man Camp exists.
Yeah, as long as that exists, I'm good.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Everyone's a winner.
I'm a
here.
winner
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Jerry Curls, fucking asshole. The Gingerweed Man is a Full Moon Pictures. It's part of it.
Yeah, Ginger did. Yeah,
I did legitimately
knew.
delete the last thing that said it was part of the Evil Bong franchise, which, in all fairness, I could just have made up anyways.
No, I'm familiar with that, but I didn't know that they had a ginger weed man.
Yeah, I know. This is part of the Evil Bong cinematic universe.
Yeah, they started like just churning them out
Fucked
after
up,
the
right?
first one. Yeah,
It's crazy too because they're all like $300 million movies. So I don't know how they have so much money to keep making these weed movies. Lastly, classic action movies. We're going back to this all 20th century action films. They don't just have new stuff; they got old stuff too. I don't know. I'm scared to look at like new action movies on Tubi. It's fucked up. It's all like COVID challenge or something like that. It's fucking bleak. So these are classic action films. You are to determine which one of these is on Tubi and which one is not to be. Is A, Panther Squad from 1984, not to be. an astronaut has been abducted by a group of environmental terrorists. The new Organization of Nations decides to send a lethal commando, quote, to Panther Squad, unquote, composed of sexy female mercenaries to get rid of the terrorists, led by Barbara Wims to free the hostage. Barbara, I took out all the actor names, by the way, so you're only going to get character names when I say this. Is the answer B, Acapulco Gold from 1976? In this rollicking adventure set on the high seas, an innocent insurance agent working on the beautiful Hawaiian island of Kauai is framed as a drug smuggler. He gets help from a most unlikely source, the town drunk, who knows more than anyone suspects. Or is it C, Power Slide from 1990? Rural drug lord who bails out beleaguered farmers with loans in exchange for harvesting marijuana on their land. Or is it D, Mace? And this is with the what do they call it in the anagram? I don't know what the anagram stands for, but it's M.A.C.E.
Okay. Like MASH.
Yeah, or Mask.
Mask,
The
yeah.
cartoon, but this is Mace. When a team of nuclear specialists is held hostage in the jungles of Guatemala, the covert group Mace, cold weapons experts, is the hostage's only chance of freedom. Which one is not to be?
Power Slide.
Christine says Power Slide from 1990.
Acapulco Gold is definitely real, so I'm going to go Panther Squad from 1984.
Brent says A, Panther Squad is not to be.
Read the titles again. I don't read the plots.
Panther Squad, 1984. Acapulco Gold, 1976. Power Slide, 1990. Or Mace from 1986.
Mace.
Ooh.
Dylan, you know me too well. Mace. I was on Mage, and I was going to make them wizards. But I'm like, no, that's too on the fucking nose. And so then I was like, okay, they're like medieval experts weapons. And I say, no, if I say medieval weapons, it's going to be too on those, because that would be cool too. And then this was the last one I did. I did this like minutes before you showed up, Brent.
Yeah.
I was kind of stressing about
What
it.
was the description?
What's that?
What was the description?
This is the one I made up.
Yeah.
When a team of nuclear specialists is held hostage in the jungles of Guatemala, a covert group, Mace, cold weapons experts. Cold weapons, I had to learn this the hard way, is weapons that aren't guns or bombs.
Yeah.
Cold weapons, that shit's hard. Anyways, they're cold weapons experts. They're mace. They use maces, and
God damn it, I
Shit.
should have put that together.
So
Yeah,
good.
okay.
it's the hostage's only chance of
Okay.
freedom. Dylan knew.
Yes.
So I don't know if I got a better. I guess I'm learning that AI doesn't help you make up fake movies. You can just make them up in your head.
Turns out.
unless Dylan's in the room, and then he's gonna suss them out. Justine knows the AI ones. Dylan knows the me ones.
I know the ones that Colin will write up.
God damn it! God damn it!
Well,
I got
sniffed
you on
out.
the first one. I got you.
Yeah, I
on,
will say. But fast fashion, I was like,
God damn it!
I knew that was made up. And then what sold me on Mace, weirdly, was when you were like, I don't know what that means. I don't know why I was like, yeah, he made that up and he couldn't
He
make
didn't
it up.
think about it.
You would totally look that up.
He couldn't make up what it
Yeah.
actually meant.
Yeah,
He
but
would have looked
in
that
all
up.
fairness, I wouldn't be making that up, or I wouldn't look it up after.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
would.
No, I just
feel
watched
like,
the movie.
But I feel like in description they would just tell you what that meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm
Fair
like,
enough.
that's why I'm like, oh no, he doesn't even know what it means.
Unless they were just being funny.
Lazy. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's I'm learning. I'm good at writing descriptions, or that descriptions for movies are terrible because they're just like three sisters, Emily, Sandra, and
You know which part threw me off of that one where they're at a lake, which is why I thought it was fake, was they were like, a guy and a girl are doing something, and their friend Tammy, it's like, what? Why do we suddenly know this person?
there's so many
Tammy?
names they just insert in these
Yeah.
movie
Did
descriptions.
not need to know her name.
Say like the scientist guy or
Yeah,
whatever. We don't-
they go to the cabin of her friend.
yeah.
The end. Tammy.
All right, that was my game. I had fun.
I got them all wrong. But we have new things to add to the to-be watch list.
Man Camp, number one, top
Yeah.
of the queue right now. Oh my God. Hey, Colin, tell us about your experience at Comic-Con this year. It was
It was so weird. I had fun.
yeah.
But no, I had a really good time. They're not doing like Hollywood stuff this year, right?
They couldn't, yeah. So that, for however many years now, they've been like, man, Hall H, I camped out for 6 hours to hear about, a new Thor movie or something.
What was in Hall H this year?
Nothing, right?
It was literally empty.
I don't know. They had nothing to announce.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's still a fucking Book of Magic tournament.
There
I don't
was,
know.
I think, a foreign series or foreign film that was announced in there, and that got a ton of press coverage because that was the only thing that, was covered. But I mean, I remember just being in the building and nobody was talking about it.
Right. Well, we were there on preview night. That's not
It
a
still
fair.
it still gets hyped up,
I guess so.
They still talk about like what there's usually like an excitement, about like, oh my god, what's Marvel going to announce, or what is DC going to announce? But this was just like, I want to look at comic books.
Yeah. I was very happy because I think I went maybe 10, 15 years ago was probably the last time I went. God, it would be weird if it was 15 years ago. What do you think it was?
I feel like it was more recent than that.
I don't know. 15, I feel like is a safe bet. 10,
23 right now.
right.
You started going in 1992.
What Marvel movie was out when you went?
See, that's the thing. I was such like a fucking like not acknowledging any of that stuff.
Of the MCU movies?
No, I was acknowledging them in IRL, but not at the comic book convention.
Con?
Yeah, I was just like because my old days were like, running around getting autographs from like Jim Lee and shit. I don't know why I'm so committed to repeating this story, but there was like one guy who charged for autographs back in the day, and that was Lou Ferrigno, and he got so much shit for it from everyone.
Yeah.
Probably not to his face or anything,
Yeah.
but like the general consensus on the floor is that fucking asshole. He thinks he's so cool.
Yeah.
Like poor fucking Fabian Nicieza is breaking his wrist over here, just signing off copies of New Warriors. But
and Frigno was only $10.
yeah, it was $10.
Yeah.
$10 to get an autograph from Lou
To bring
Ferrigno.
it full circle, Jim Lee this year charging $60, which pissed off some of the halitosis breathed vendors that I was browsing in front of.
Yeah, and I got like Jim Lee shit autograph. I was a little kid running around getting these things signed. It was, I don't know, fun, like a scavenger hunt or something like that. And I didn't put it together till like after the fact, but like, man, it was like a very big deal being introduced, if you want to call it that, or exposed would be more accurate, I suppose, to like people who just make their living like with their hands, like I make shit. I make fucking Wildcats, dog, and you're here getting an autograph from me. I thought that was so cool, and that's why it really lost me when they got very like, the person from Game of Thrones, someone who plays a dwarf or something. It's like, what? That dwarf is so popular. It's like that's not helpful to me as a young person and as an adult. I mean, I don't even give a shit about meeting. I mean, I like to meet artists now and to say, oh, hey, I like your stuff. And I think even when I went one year, like, I think everyone has like meeting the Hernandez brothers story, because those motherfuckers are there and they're just there. And those are like some of the greatest living artists on the planet. And sure enough, they like in 03, 05, something like that, they did like a little sketch for me, and they were just sitting there, like no line, no anything. And I mean, that was, I think like 2008 is to me a big demarcation point, because that's like Iron Man comes out, and after that, it's fucked. That year in general changes everything. So this was like definitely, this year felt very pre that. And granted, I don't go every year. People who are really in the trenches, like, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking for you. Like, there's people I talk to who are there every year, rain or shine, no matter what. They're not bogged down by this BS. They're just like, yeah, it's great, I love it. And so it's like, those, I'm not going to take anything away from those people. They're actually out there doing it. But for me, like, this stuff, I have this weird like nostalgia thing attached to it. It like means something to me, holds some memories. I was talking to my therapist at an interesting point. I'm kind of like mulling this over. She was like, you have to be physiologically in a place of comfort to have fun, like your body has to be at rest in order to experience like fun. And it's like, if you're stressed out or something, or if you're a person who's prone to that kind of, your ears perk up in a place that maybe feels unsafe or something, you're just not going to be receptive to enjoying yourself. But I think maybe the environment feeling so natural to me, given that like, it's familiar, the link between familiarity and fun, it's an interesting idea. You have to be at ease to experience fun, and familiarity makes you be at ease to certain people of a certain disposition, right? So it's like parachuting or something is probably not going to be very fun to certain people because it's, not very, not familiar. It's very stressful. But something like going to like the physical location that I would go to as a kid, it's all very familiar, and so maybe it's easy to be receptive to it in that sense. I don't think this is what you had in mind when you wanted to talk about.
Oh no,
Comic-Con
yeah,
stuff.
because you grew up here and you went from 1992, for a long clip. So I just wanted to get your take on like the contrast between then and now, and this weird, because of the strike, like weird respite from all like the mass consumerism and hype and how far away it had gotten from its roots. Because we have a mutual friend that was vending there, and he observed that last year I was miserable. And I'd forgotten that, because I remember, just kind of walking around and, making the room and be like, okay, whatever. But yeah, he's just like, he was kind of blown away that I walked back with a stack of comics. He goes, wait, you bought comic books? I'm like, yeah, Comic-Con, dude. That's what I would want to do. And he goes, so wait, are you having fun? Last year you were like completely miserable and you hated it. I was like, well, yeah, because it was something totally different. It's just a bunch of people lining up for Funko Pops or whatever. Whereas like this, it felt like it was just kind of gritty again in a weird way. I mean, there was moments where we were looking through original art, pages, and I forgot where I was. And when we stopped looking at them, I was like, oh yeah, we're at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's crazy. They just have, it ain't like a museum because you can't like molest museum paintings or anything.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're looking at Frank Miller pinups. You're looking at Bernie Wrights and shit galore, at least at the booth we were at. And there's like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Each of them of those like original art booths, they got to be carting around 7 figures, right?
Yeah.
When you're just like looking at a wall and it's like $85K, $100K, like for, Jack Kirby splash pages and stuff like that. And getting to just like literally touch the stuff. I mean, it's in bags and stuff.
We got to look at like a 8-page Bernie Wrightson short that we had never seen, all there and in its original form. That was surreal for me.
Yeah, it was nice. And I got to William Stout, like just sitting around, getting to talk to him. Let's say, again, I'm not a fucking fanboy. I'm not like getting shit signed or anything, but it's like, hey, guy who drew the Wizards poster, you're a fucking legend, bro. It was really nice.
Okay, I was wondering how that was going to play out, because like when we were kind of walking around before everything opened up, like we were just kind of excited, and you just pointed, you go, William Stout, that's the man. You know what I mean? And then there's this pause, and you look at the guy and you go, you're William Stout. And he goes, it was a very Stan Lee moment. Yeah. He goes, why, yes, I am. And it was very like jovial and cool. You know what I mean? Like how you would want it to be. And then I was like, okay, yeah, we'll probably come back here, maybe pick up one of his sketchbooks or something like that. But then we go to a standalone booth that just says non-sports trading cards.
Yeah.
That's the name of it. And we're like, hell yeah, let's go see what that's about. Then we go there. Immediately there's just like, this is before doors, so there's just like this guy that's in there buying cards, all perv cards. He's just like, he's got a box of Maryland. He's got, I forget what else he had. He had like Playboy cards and stuff.
Yeah, people forget how grimy the like trading card game was back in the day. Like,
there was a whole wall of the grimy stuff, and he was just like, I need to get in early and I need to get all the grimy shit now. So we go there, it's a weird tone. So then you find a pack of the William Stout trading cards that you mentioned in your excitement to him. You're like, I'm gonna get these, I'm gonna give them to him. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have him sign them? What are you gonna do? No, we go back and you actually just give them to him.
He's like, hey, I found these pack of cards. You remember these?
He's like, I know, yeah. I made them.
Like, yeah, you want them? He goes, yeah, sure. Like, here you go.
So what was the card?
He literally like he had his own series of cards.
Yes,
they were just
what
drawings.
is on the cards?
Drawings they did.
Just drawings.
Yeah, like some paintings. Like if you're a kid, it's a way to get like little prints.
Okay, yeah.
His art. Some certain artists would get that shine. I think there was Wrights and cards.
There was, they had them there, and that was like the thing is like the most oddly satisfying exhibitor might have been non-sports trading cards, because it just unlocked all the member berries in spades.
So, seeing all those like Marvel Series 2 cards, obviously like masterpieces and stuff, but then just like weird, like that's the whole thing when you. Nostalgia really is not the stuff you can remember; it's the stuff you forgot. So when you see something you forgot about, you're like, oh, fucking that box art.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was pretty nice. You've been to Comic-Con a few times, Justine? A few or once? Once.
I went one time.
I forced you at gunpoint?
It was like, let's go do this. And I said, okay. And then after, I was like, I will never do that ever again.
Too crowded.
What didn't you like about it?
It was so crowded.
Yeah,
and it was super hot, and you had to wait outside in line for forever. And then yeah, just then inside and just people bumping into you all the time and just like crowding you. And it was not for me.
Yeah, this shit was light, but it was also preview night, so a little different.
I'm sure that's different. But I did hear that I've heard nothing but good things from creators.
Yeah.
The consensus is just like, I don't know, like with people maybe not just crowding around the big, celebrity things and panels, they just kind of are able to walk around and see what there is.
Oh, yeah.
And so like they were selling stuff and meeting people, and it was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the text that I sent Colin from last year's, I was like, I am standing in front of Legends and in Artist Alley, and there is nobody here. This is crazy. And then this year it was mobbed like in Artist Alley. It was cool. Like we had to kind of like, squish our way to the front, to check out some of the stuff for sure.
Bill, you a Comic-Con man?
I like going if I can. I usually get in for free, but this last couple times it's been kind of
hard, right?
difficult. Yeah. This year I just, for the first time in maybe 10 years, I just did outside stuff.
How's that satisfying?
It was fine. I mean, like, I only want to go for, and this is stupid. Well, not stupid because it's like kind of the point, but I only go for deals for books that are going to be discounted on Sunday.
Of course.
Yeah.
Smart.
So like, I only want to go Sunday for discounted stuff, like in general.
Yep.
I don't really care about, bro. It's cool to cosplay and stuff, but I'm not like one to stop someone to take a picture unless it's just funny, but it's rare. But yeah, no, outside I kind of got whatever I wanted to do like out of me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I wanted to go, but I was like, just want to buy stuff, but hanging around everyone else that like couldn't either go in or just walking around, that was pretty cool. I always like the craziness of Gaslamp during that time anyway.
You didn't like the craziness of Gaslamp.
No, I never like Gaslamp.
No, I don't like Gaslamp normal, but I like Gaslamp Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
Just because
it's a different vibe.
Yeah, because it's like funnier to me.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
All those guys like, because in my head, this is how I imagine the rest of the world normally. It's like, there's like, there's Art the Clown just running around.
Was there really an Art the Clown?
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
There's a group. There was I'm going to call them a duo, and there were two different versions of Art the Clown.
So hard.
Probably Terrifier 2, and if there's a difference from either one or the All Hallows Eve or whatever that one's called, there's a duo of those two guys just taking pics. And like, in my head, this is how I look at any kind of downtown. Just like random people dressed like stuff. And like it's a dream fulfilled in my mind that I'm just witnessing.
It's a wild dichotomy too between like people that work in the service industry that are just doing their jobs during Comic-Con, and then the freaks that are just like, I am at Comic-Con and this is about me. You know what I mean? So like you're watching these people like in costumes running around the streets while somebody's just on a smoke break, just like leering at them. I love that.
I like walking by a Hawkman with his wings spread out. So like just making it very inconvenient for everybody trying to walk by, because he has to spread them out for a picture that some kid's asking for.
Right.
But it's like, man, you're fucking annoying.
Blocking
and he's walking at a different
sidewalk.
pace than everybody else.
Yeah. Because they're not moving, they're just standing. I don't mind it as much, but like it is annoying.
You're right about the deals too. Like even first day, like graphic novels, like 50% off.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
Become
cool.
a couple.
Yeah.
I got the new Simon Hanselman book from Fantagraphics. That was always nice.
It's a good.
Oh, you were
That was full price, but
customer number one though.
it's true. Technically, probably the first person to retail buy it because it's out early.
Did you read it?
Not yet.
Oh my, you're not the first person to read it.
I didn't say I was the first person to read it. I said I was the first person to
Oh,
buy it.
like,
Well,
she-
you should have been the first
I'm
person.
gonna
to ever
fucking read it. Those
The-
books takes like 5 minutes to
The
read.
lady was
That's
so
what I'm
excited
saying.
to sell it to him. She goes, "This is not out until August. You are the first person to have a copy." And we're like, "Hell yeah!" We're having like the best day.
Yeah,
It
no.
was just,
Very silly things happening left and right that were just very satisfying.
The only contact we had with the like in terms of touching other people was when, well, Colin, as we've established on this podcast, is a bit of a sneakerhead and wanted to pick up the A6 Marvel Kith drop.
That was wild. So there was basically they were going to let it out at 6, but you couldn't like be in line. I was just kind of like, stalking it like at a distance, and then they made the announcement to line up basically. And like, I thought I was just like, oh, I'm the only one here. Like,
Yeah, it's 5:40. There's like you would think you were the only person there.
Like people started just jumping out of shadows underneath, like tossing up manhole covers. It was like, and it was like, it was morbid, but like it was very easy to see how people like get trampled to death. Like, because this is very few people are in here. We're here. These are the people who are in before the thing opens.
Yeah,
and it is like a stampede to get in line to buy a sneaker. But, hey, mission accomplished. Everyone wondering what the Kith Asics Gel Light 3 that I got was. It was beast, and I'm very satisfied with my purchase. Thank you.
Yeah, the employees had to scream, "There's a control booth behind you!" Like when the stampede was happening, because it's like a thin little scrim that separates like all their equipment and technology and even the stock of the shoes. You know what I mean? They realized that if one person goes through the wall, there's a potential for just a complete feeding frenzy of people just snagging boxes that are just 2 feet away from this haphazard line that formed.
Everyone still just stood in line, was very polite. I don't think there was any incident or anything, but it is funny when you're like, oh, it looks like no one else is around, and then the light comes on and it's just like
crush,
charge.
Yeah.
I think that's our Comic-Con 2023 coverage.
You know it's a really good booth to walk into?
Which one?
The 2000 AD booth. And then you just fucking nerd out to the person that's just working there, like to be annoying.
Go on.
I just said.
Have you done this?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, Wagner is fucking God. Yeah. Yeah, One-Eyed Jack is a fucking amazing book. Yeah.
Well, that's the best part. It's like okay, yeah, like some of the smaller like indie presses, like it's the people that work there, it's the people that are involved. But like Marvel Kith, that is like day employees that don't even know what the fuck they're dealing with. It's just like the energy is different from booth to booth. So yeah, like sometimes it's funny to go like to a bigger one and just punish them. Just be like, so like in issue 8.
I've only done it twice to be funny.
Of course. That's the only reason to do it.
Because I'm always like, oh, dude, I really like Rogue Trooper file number 3, and I'm just like being stupid. This poor British woman just be like, yeah, yeah, it's good. Anyway, Judge Dredd Secret Files. I can't wait for the next one. Is gonna be and I like it.
So Comic-Con, a brief oasis from the way it was headed, it seemed.
Yeah. It was a good time. A good time was had by all.
Did you see cosplayers?
Again, it was preview night, so they're not decked out.
It's mellow.
Yeah, who's
very little cosplay coverage this year.
Yeah,
and I wonder if it's just because of
I saw a lot of cosplay on my walk.
Yeah.
Vendor. I mean, this is Wednesday, so like vendors were speculating that because there isn't the Hollywood element, that there would be in general less cosplayers because it's less of a
pop culture thing.
Exactly. Yeah, which is nice.
What was the best one you saw?
The really good looking one was the Michelangelo, but like it just looked like the second movie costume.
It's pretty cool though.
OG movies.
Yeah, that's sick.
We have a friend that took a bunch of pictures with cosplayers. Oh, there's a Silent Bob.
Okay.
There's a picture.
It was actually.
It was actually Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith not there?
Yeah, he was there because he had movies pop up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he could technically sell comic books.
Yeah.
I don't think he had I don't know. I guess he just doesn't have any projects right now.
It's really weird because he was remember like when NFTs were happening, he was supposed to sell that horror movie Kilroy was here on NFT, and he just never did.
Well,
so he's got like some stuff in the can.
He lied.
Yeah. No, you know when to fold them. Yeah. Well, that's our Comic-Con 2023 coverage. I don't think there's I know you turn here for this, and we thank you for it. Listening to it a week after it happened, and now you know.
Unlimited.
Dylan, why don't you tell the people what we're watching next?
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited. This week we got Disney's Haunted Mansion, based on the Disneyland ride, The Haunted Mansion. And it looks actually really funny and really scary, and I'm looking forward to it. Then we got Talk to Me from A24, another horror movie, but for babies. I'm looking forward to it though, it looks pretty good. Anyway, see y'all at the movies, bye!